OpenClaw has gone completely viral and was just acquired by OpenAI. It's a super powerful tool, but it's not for everyone. Today, you're going to learn about 5 alternatives to OpenClaw that you need to try. Some of these you won't have heard of yet, but they're super powerful. The first alternative is Manus. So Manus was recently acquired by Meta, and they just launched personal agents inside of Manus. Now, it's very similar to what OpenClaw is. You create your agent, you can actually chat with it from Telegram, very similar to OpenClaw, but it's fully run on inside of Manus. It has all of the powers of Manus, all of the connections that you can connect to Manus. You can also use inside the Manus agent. And then it has the ability to remember what you chat with it as well. And it's in one chat. And this is very similar to the setup of OpenClaw. And this is, I think, one of the best ways to try out OpenClaw. It's not exactly OpenClaw, but if you try out Manus, you're going to see the way that the AI chats with you and communicates with you is very similar to OpenClaw. So they're either using the OpenClaw framework behind the scenes, or they cloned it and are doing a very, very similar thing behind the scenes. This is, I think, one of the best ways to try out a personal agent because it's completely safe. Everything is hosted on Manus and its own kind of virtual computer, and you don't have to worry about security. You also don't have to worry about costs going out of control. Everything is limited by the subscription that you're on with Manus, so you don't have to worry about that. And it's super easy to get started. You just create a Manus account and then create your agent, and you can get started immediately. You can chat with it in Manus, or you can connect it to Telegram and start messaging it inside of Telegram. So super easy to get started with. So it's safe to use, and it is not going to be super costly with unexpected costs. So Manus, definitely a great one to get started with. The next OpenClaw alternative to get started with is Tasklit. I've been using Tasklit myself recently, and I've been really enjoying it. There are a few big differences between OpenClaw and Tasklit. So let's go through the 3 criteria. I'm going to do that for each tool so that you can decide which one to go with for yourself. So the 3 criteria are safety, cost, and also ease of use. Tasklit, super easy to use. It's a little bit different from the Manus situation where you just have one chat for everything. With Tasklit, unlike Manus and OpenClaw, you can have a different agent for all of your tasks. It's really easy to get set up with, so I would definitely recommend it for that. In terms of costs, also, you're not going to have unexpected costs. It's a subscription. I will say it's not necessarily the cheapest thing to use. Same with Manus. These things are not necessarily cheap because they're using a lot of AI compute to get good results. They have to use relatively high-powered agents and AI models. Now, I will say with the new Sonnet 4.6 model that just came out, the costs I think are going down because you can get more out of those models for less money. So as these models continue to get better, we're going to see these tools get less expensive, but it's easy to get started with. I would say this is kind of similar to Manus. I would recommend trying it out. I've been really enjoying it. I think that it might be a little bit better at actually getting things done and listening to your instructions than Manus. So Tasklit, I personally like more than Manus right now, but they're both great and both really easy ways to get started with this type of tool. But Tasklit is a little bit different from OpenClaw in that you don't have one kind of chat, you have multiple chats, and each agent is its own chat. Number 3 is Clam. This is a company backed by Y Combinator. I just saw them pop up on my X feed recently. The URL is tryclam.com. And this is OpenClaw. So if you use Clam, you're using OpenClaw, but you're using it on their hosted computer. So it's a hosted virtual computer that they are going to set up for you. But the difference between setting up OpenClaw on your own and Clam is that it is secure. They're claiming it's secure, that it has a semantic firewall, your API keys aren't exposed, and has one-click integrations. It is more expensive to do it. You have to pay $50 a month minimum to use Clam, but it's secure, so that's solving that one problem. It isn't going to solve your expense issues necessarily, especially surprise expenses, because you will have to enter an API key, or I think they give you some credits by default, but if you want to go past that, you'd be entering your Anthropic API key. So that could potentially get expensive. So it's not necessarily solving that, but it is solving the ease of use. So if you want to try OpenClaw, like you really just want the pure OpenClaw, this is, I think, one of the best ways to do that and actually get the OpenClaw experience, but they host it for you in a secure way. This one's really interesting to me. Next, we've got Lindy. They've recently also added, similar to Manus, their AI chat personal assistant product. Lindy used to be more of a workflow, AI workflow, almost like Zapier with AI attached to it. Now on their homepage, we can see they are really pushing this personal assistant chat where you can chat with it from your inbox. This is going to be very similar to Manus, where it can connect to your calendar, to your email, to any app that you want. It can take action on your behalf. And this is going to solve the ease of use issue. It's going to solve the security issue. In terms of cost, again, you're going to be limited by the subscription that you're on. So, it's not going to be super cheap to use it regularly, but at least you're not going to be hit with unexpected costs. So I would recommend trying all of these out, especially the ones with subscriptions. Start with a monthly plan or even a free trial. A lot of them have free trials to try it out, and you can see which ones you're getting the best results out of. The last OpenClaw alternative is Zapier Agents. Zapier Agents is a little bit closer to Tasklit than it is to Manus and Lindy and Clam, because it's not going to be that personal assistant one chat or it's going to take action for you. This is a little bit more like Tasklit, where you have individual agents. You've given each of them their own tool, and then those tools can take action. Zapier is the oldest company in this roundup. It's been around for a really long time, and with just basic workflows that have been more trigger-based and step-based. And now they have agents as well, where it can use intelligence to decide what to do. Zapier Agents is another really great one to get started with. I would say Zapier Agents is a little bit harder to get started with compared to some of the other tools, just because it's not as much of a natural language setup. It takes a little bit more of a UI setup, so you have to understand the interface, but again, not too hard to get started with. In terms of cost, you again are going to be under a subscription, so that part makes it easier. And then in terms of security, it's going to be secure because it is part of Zapier, and Zapier might be one of the most secure because it's been around for so long and it's fully set up for enterprises. Huge companies use Zapier. So if you're concerned about security, Zapier might be the absolute best option for you. I hope that this was helpful. Let me know in the comments what else you want to learn about OpenClaw or OpenClaw alternatives. This space is changing rapidly and moving really quickly, so subscribe to our channel to stay updated. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video.